Keith Ruck here at VintageMachinery.org. Got a really nice package in the mail this past week, and I want to take a little bit of time and go through it and show you guys what all was sent. So first off, I'm going to acknowledge that quite a few of the YouTube machinist creators out there on YouTube have received boxes very similar to this in the last few weeks. And this all actually came from they came from Niagara Cutter, which of course is a very high quality, high-end maker of end mills and tooling, so forth, that you would use on a milling machine. Company's been around for quite a time. I think they were started about 1954, early 50s, early mid 50s. And I can tell you, as someone who has been doing machine shop work, either as a machinist full-time or as a hobbyist, which is what I've been mostly the last, I don't know, 20-something years, but before that working full-time as a machinist, I can tell you that I've always considered Niagara to be extremely high-quality stuff. So anytime you wanted really good stuff, you would always go after the Niagara. And I'm fortunate that I have some good Niagara tooling currently, and thanks to this package, I'm going to have quite a bit more. So Dennis Nolan is I guess you could call a fan, a subscriber to many of the guys out here on YouTube, their channels. And Dennis happens to actually be a senior design engineer at Niagara Tool. He is the man, guys. He is the one that designs these high-tech tools in this day and age, when there's so many CNC jobs being done that are really custom setups for a very custom part with certain materials, certain types of machine that needs to be done. When they have a big order to do something like this, they can contact Dennis, and in many cases Dennis will actually design a cutter specifically for that job, which to me is just really cool. In fact, he was sharing with me, he actually has some patents on tools, and I'll try to cover some of that here in a minute. But anyway, Dennis was kind enough to talk to Niagara, and basically they have put together a care package of tools to send out to a lot of us on YouTube. I'm going to zoom you guys in. I've already looked at this and kind of been through most of it. I haven't I haven't looked at it in great depth. I just real quickly went through it the other day, but we're going to go through it and show you what's all in here. So when I opened up the box for the first time, the first thing that jumped out at me were these big tubes right here. There were two of them in here, and we're going to show you those first. And I think these are somewhat unique. I'm not going to say nobody else got any of these, but I think maybe only a few people were able to get these because of what they are and the machinery needed to run them. So let's look at them. So to start with, we got the small one here, if you want to call this small. And when I first looked at this, it was like, wow. And I'm looking at it right now and I'm saying, wow, look at this joker, guys. That is 2 inches in diameter. Is that right? Yeah, 2 inches. I'm not sure what you call this pattern on here. I guess it's a roughing type end mill. It's kind of got a scalloped cut in there. It's got some technical information on here, but that is a heck of a piece of tooling. That is one heck of a piece of tooling. And the reason he probably sent this out to me, guys, is I do have that big Kearney Trekker horizontal mill that will take something like this. And when I saw it, I was like, man, that is going to be awesome. I know I'll have some uses for that. And then there's also the big tube here. And look at this one. That is razor sharp. This one is hasn't got the rough cut on there. This is more of a smooth cut. I'm gonna put this up before it gets messed up. But this one here has a radius in the bottom. It's not real sharp, which is actually good for real heavy milling. You really don't want a sharp corner down there. You can do that with lighter milling when you finish cut. But another very nice 2-inch mill here. Let's see, the overall length on this one is 14 inches. You got about 10 inches of actual cutting area here. another really awesome tool. I don't have anything like either one of these. So Dennis, man, awesome. I can't wait to have a job to pull this one out. All right, so now we got some boxes here, and these are a little bit more along the lines of what some of the other guys, what I saw them get, although not totally. So first off, there's a couple of 6-packs in here, as they're called, of Niagara Cutters. Well, let me cut that open. All right, so these are 2 different grades. He's got the number on here, 20666 and 64466. And basically, this is a set of end mills that are all, different sizes, but they're basically the same style. And that one there is a roughing type end mill, which is really awesome because I don't have many roughing end mills. That's something that I think is going to be handy for me to have. I see people using them all the time. It's just not something have used a lot, nor do I have very many of. I have a few, but not very many. So I've got a nice set of roughers here, and these over here, these going that way, I believe are going to be just regular plain 2 flute end mills, which you can never have too many of, particularly nice sharp ones. So the other thing that was in this box that I was really happy to see is this monster right here. So what is this? This is a 50 taper tool that goes into my horizontal milling machine that has a 2-inch holder. So this is basically the holder to hold these big end mills that Dennis sent. And I'm really excited to see this because I don't have, or I didn't have, a 2-inch tool holder here. So that would go up in there. You'll set these set screws. I don't want to put up all the way in there because I need to get it back out, and that's razor sharp. But this will allow me to have something to do some work holding. Dennis, you nailed it here, bud. This is awesome because when I first saw the cutters, I was like, these are really cool. And then my brain's fast forwarding and I'm thinking, I don't think I got a tool holder to hold that. I'm gonna have to find a tool holder now. And lo and behold, he had one stuck in the box. Second box here that was in there, also crammed full of goodies. And so he sent along a selection of some inserts, and I have tool holders to fit most of these. I think all of these actually. And it's just a selection of some different ones. So I will note that the lathe tools, the tool holders here, and the tool cutters that are in here are made by SECO, S-E-C-O, whereas the cutters themselves are made by Niagara. And Dennis told us that Niagara is now actually owned by SECO. They are wholly owned by SECO. They're operated as a separate company still, Niagara Cutter. And a Niagara Cutter basically does basically milling machine type tooling, whereas SECO does lathe type tooling. So it's 2 separate companies. And to my knowledge, most if not all of the Niagara stuff is still made right here in the U.S. Some of it may be imported, I'm not sure, but I think most of it is still manufactured here in the U.S., which is kind of cool. So anyway, we got the actual cutters there. In the SECO boxes, we got a couple of lathe tool holders. So this is just a trigon type left-hand cutter. So this is actually, I don't have any trigons this size tool holders, so this is something that will be very handy. And then the other one here is a cutoff tool, and doesn't have an insert. I have to figure out which insert there is and order this, but I'm excited about this this cutoff tool because I used to have a cutoff tool like this. Well, not exactly like this. Mine was a cheap import, and it was a cheap import. And when it worked, I really liked it, but it didn't hold up very well. And but this is something that is a really nice parting tool, and I look forward to getting some inserts for this and putting it to use. Continuing on here, there's just a whole bunch of different end mills. Dennis told us that a lot of these end mills, these ones that are loose here, I think, are kind of specialty end mills that were designed for customers for certain jobs, and for whatever reason they never got shipped, never got sold, and you know, it's not, I think a lot of the stuff is maybe not normal everyday catalog items. Now, it's not to say you can't use these for other purposes, which is what I'll be using them for, but they were all probably, or most of these were probably specifically designed for a job, and Dennis was going to try to get those to us. So, obviously, you know, there's a nice, what does that say, 1.5 inch, body down here, 1.25 inch shank, nice end mill, nice big end mill again, that will definitely come in handy for Flute. See another larger one here, another 4 Flute, 1.25 inch shank and body. Very nice. See, this one is more of a specialty item. This is solid carbide. You can tell by the color it's a little bit grayer looking, but mostly by the weight. And that's a 3 Flute, and it has a real tight, fast spiral to it. So I'm sure that was some type of specialty cutter for doing a specific job. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. You can use it, I'm sure, on just about anything and it'll be fine, but it was probably designed for a specific job. Another solid carbide one here, very similar to 3 Flute, different end mill, but still similar to this other design. And yet another, this one here is a 5 Flute, solid carbide, tight spiral. Interesting. These will be nice. I've got some carbide stuff, but nothing this big, so definitely be handy there. And you know, 4 Flute, I think these are pretty standard. Nice roughing end mill there. Another 4 Flute. I think I'll just real quickly go through these. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. That's an interesting one. 4 Flute's got that kind of scalloped look around it for roughing, and it's got a little chamfer on the bottom, and pretty neat. Another one like that last one, it looks like. Yet another one. There's a 3 Flute carbide. It's got some little grind out marks on the side. I imagine this is for roughing as well. That's interesting. Again, that's probably a specialty cutter that was designed for a job. Another one here, that's a 5 Flute. Yeah, another specialty cutter. Ball end mill, 1/8 inch, long. That would be interesting. Get down in some deep pockets with that one. Another ball end mill. This one feels like it's carbide, 4 Flute. That's a long one. Got kind of a thinner neck here and then goes down to a 4 Flute in the bottom. End mill ream, R-E-M. I don't know, that's interesting. I'll have to find out from Dennis what that was meant for. Another 5 Flute, carbide, end mill here. Look at this little special dude here. So that one, 5/64 diameter, 1/8 inch shank. That 4 Flute, carbide. So that's another specialized cutter there. Little 2 Flute ball end mill. That's solid carbide, 5 millimeter. And then the last thing in here is this little sample pack here. And he's got on here what they are. These are all Carbide Cutters. And I wanted to open this up because Dennis, he told me about one of these cutters in particular, and I want to see if I can find it. This one in here, what does he call that? The Stabilizer HT, I think. This is a Carbide. It's a 4 flute. And Dennis actually shared some information on this. This one has a patent number on it, and this is actually for a patent that Dennis has. This is one of his creations, and it's quite a unique end mill in how it was designed. And it was designed as a general purpose end mill, but one just for running at very high speeds, probably mostly in CNC equipment. But one common problem you have is you get chatter when you run these. So you get a little vibration or a little harmonic going on, you get at least some marks on there. So the interesting thing about this is, even though it's a 4 flute, the angles between these flutes are different. They're not all, it's not like on a, 90 degrees apart. And that right there actually changes the harmonics as it's cutting. So instead of it one cut every, in an even time per revolution, it's kind of irregular, and that helps fight the harmonics. And another thing that it has is that the actual grind angle on each one of these spirals is also just a little bit different. They'll all remove metal, but because they're all different, it's taking a different cut at different intervals on every revolution. This particular end mill greatly reduces vibration and chatter, which is kind of interesting and something I'm interested in trying out, because every now and then you're in a part and it just doesn't want to cooperate. So we'll definitely save that one and use it in that special situation there. But again, he's got the part numbers on here, what they all are. So very nice set. Well, here's everything laid out, guys. You can really kind of get an idea of what's all in here. Amazing. Dennis, thank you. This blows my mind. I got a bunch of end mills. Most of them are used end mills that I picked up in lots of stuff, and it seems like I never have a good sharp end mill when I need a good sharp end mill. I'm always over there digging through my pile trying to find the best one I can find, or maybe using some regrinds, which there's nothing wrong with, but having this selection at my fingertips is going to be oh so valuable to me down the road, and I greatly appreciate it. I don't know what to say. I just thank you. So that'll be a wrap. Amazing. It just never ceases to amaze me that folks out there feel fit to, send things in for us to use and try. Dennis, thank you again. Niagara and SECO, thank you. This was an idea that Dennis wanted to do to kind of help us out here in the field. For us doing educational videos, and he convinced the powers to be at Niagara and SECO that they needed to step it up and make some of this stuff available to us to be able to use out here. And for that, Dennis, you went above and beyond. And I greatly appreciate it, as I know the whole YouTube machining community appreciates both you and SECO and Niagara. I'll also mention, guys, that Dennis sent a care package out to Stan Zinkowski. I've talked a little bit before about the summer bash coming up here in June, toward the end of June, out at Stan's place in Rancho Cucamonga, California. And there's going to be a bunch of Niagara SECO stuff out there that's going to be door prizes, giveaways for people who attend the bash. So yet another reason why, if you haven't already, shoot Stan an email and sign up to come to the summer bash. It's going to be a great time. A lot of us are going to be out there, and you'll have some opportunities to go home with some tooling as nice as this right here. So don't pass up on that opportunity. Trust me, it'll be worth your time and effort, even if you have to travel quite a ways to get there. So with that, we're going to sign off. Thank you guys for watching as always, and we'll have some more content coming to you. I got some projects we're back to working on the shop. I'll be doing another shop update here pretty soon. give you an idea of where we are on that. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.